Boy, it has been a long 9 months, right? And this morning we are potentially seeing the beginning of the end of the pandemic. After months of research and trials, the first doses of Pfizer's COVID vaccine are being shipped to medical centers across the country. This just days after the FDA approved the vaccine. We are expecting shipments to arrive in both Washington and Oregon, but details have not yet been released as security and control of the distribution is a concern. Washington's governor hailed the approval of the first vaccine to fight COVID-19.
Jay Inslee says the state could start vaccinating healthcare workers and people living in long-term care facilities as early as tomorrow. Tim Gordon has more.
Good morning. I'm very happy to be delivering hopeful news and great news here this morning for the state of Washington.
The governor says Washington is ready to go. Pfizer's vaccine is being shipped out now and will arrive on Monday. Frontline healthcare workers and long-term care residents get the initial doses as soon as Tuesday. Inslee says he's been critical at times of the federal response to the pandemic.
It's just really a happy event that we can say that the FDA, the CDC did their job in this case without political intrusion into the scientific decision-making.
Washington, joined by Oregon, California, and Nevada, did their own evaluation of the vaccine as well. And the Western States Scientific Safety Review confirmed that the vaccine is safe and effective.
There are side effects associated with this vaccine, as there are with any other. The ones that we saw in the studies were transient, and they're comparable to the side effects that we see after administration of many other currently licensed vaccines.
The preventative medicine is coming on board as COVID-19 activity is at its highest in Washington, according to the state's top doctor.
As of this morning, there are more than 1,000 Washington residents with COVID-19 in our hospitals. Our hospitals are stressed taking care of patients with and without COVID, and our healthcare workers are exhausted.
The initial shipment to Washington is 62,000 doses. It will be sent to 40 facilities in 29 counties, one pharmacy that serves long-term care facilities across the state, 2 tribal nations, and an urban Indian health facility. As many as 222,000 doses should be delivered by the end of the month. Peace Health Southwest Washington Medical Center is expecting about 4,000 doses to start. Its most at-risk healthcare workers will be eligible for inoculation, but the hospital will also distribute the vaccine to other frontline workers and long-term care centers in Southwest Washington. Legacy Salmon Creek Medical Center is treating 27 COVID-19 patients right now. It will also be getting the vaccine to its most at-risk workers. The governor praised residents for helping Washington have one of the lowest infection rates in the country right now and asked them to continue the fight by getting the vaccine when it's their turn.
And we are relying upon Washingtonians' commitment to following science and truth, and the truth is in the science.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
Oregon also expects to get its first vaccine shipments today, and it'll go to healthcare workers. The Oregonian reports state officials expect 35,000 initial doses. Governor Brown says by the end of the year, Oregon should get 147,000 doses. That'll be a combination of the Pfizer vaccine and the one from Moderna, which hasn't been approved yet.
As the vaccine arrives in Oregon and Washington this week, both states are also dealing with their highest COVID case counts since the pandemic started. So on Sunday, just yesterday, the Oregon Health Authority reported 6 new deaths. This graph we're showing here continues to show that upward trend in cases too. Oregon reported 1,048 new cases on Sunday. We have plenty more COVID coverage, including the latest on the vaccines at KGW.com. And to make it easier to find, you can actually text the word vaccine to that number, 503-226-5088, and we'll send you a link to that online COVID coverage.
All right, let's get a look at some more of your morning headlines now. And police in Washington say 1 person was shot, 5 others arrested after protests turned violent in Olympia for the 2nd week in a row. Demonstrations near the Capitol included a group that wanted COVID restrictions lifted, another that was protesting the election results, and a Black Lives Matter counter-protest. Police ultimately declared it a riot. We don't have any updates on the person's condition, but we do know police arrested a 25-year-old man in connection with the shooting. This is a weird one. Police and fire crews responded to reports of explosions at a park in Salem yesterday. People heard it in the woods behind Cascades Gateway Park. There was a fire, you can see there. Crews put that out quickly, but we still don't know how it started. The park is back open now. And this is wild. Look at this video. This is a delay you will never see probably again. This was from Alaska Airlines, a flight to PDX on Saturday. It's not an engine issue. A 41-year-old guy hopped the tarmac fence at the Vegas airport and climbed onto the wing as the plane was getting ready for takeoff. No joyride for Alejandro Carlson. He was arrested. He's being held at the jail there in Nevada. That is wild.
Real.
Yeah.
Yes, it is wild. Well, there is a potential deal to end the standoff outside the Red House in North Portland. Demonstrators have been blocking a stretch of Mississippi Avenue and barricading themselves around the home, trying to stop the Kinney family from getting evicted. Mayor Ted Wheeler says the city has reached an agreement in principle to reopen the streets and sidewalks. Look at that. Sky 8 was overhead yesterday as demonstrators began taking down some of those barricades. In a statement, Mayor Wheeler called it a, quote, important step toward de-escalation and a long-term resolution for the neighborhood and the Kinney family. We'll continue to bring you updates on this story. It's pretty complicated. You can find more on KGW.com, including the family's claim of sovereign citizenship and what exactly that means.
A Beaverton food bank, meanwhile, has had their van broken into not once but twice here in the last few weeks. We're talking about the Sunshine Pantry, which uses this van right here to deliver food to seniors. So it was 2 weeks ago when it was broken into the first time. It was just sitting in a parking lot when someone stripped the car of some of its parts. And then 2 days later, someone broke into that van again. That time, they actually dismantled the steering column and they took some more things from inside the van. Sunshine Pantry's director of operations says the repairs will likely cost more than the van is worth.
It was just disheartening, in the midst of everything that we're doing, where this vehicle was needed for transport of items and food boxes and helping out, the elderly and other people that can't come to our facility. And now it is just disabled.
Beaverton police are investigating this case. Sunshine Pantry provides a fantastic resource there in the Beaverton area, providing meals for around 500 local families every month. So if you want to learn more about them or if you'd like to make a donation, you can visit sunshinepantry.org. We want to head up to Portland's Vernon neighborhood right now because something happened there over the weekend. Police say two 19-year-olds were sitting in a car on Northeast 19th Avenue when they say they heard gunshots. Wound up 3 bullets actually hit that car. Neither of the teenagers were hurt, though. Police say they found 14 bullet casings at that scene. They say it appears the shooting was random and they haven't made any arrests so far.